Alright guys, so today is another review recap over one of our test questions. This is question number 3 on your last summative assessment. Describe Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift and provide 3 pieces of evidence. Where most people miss their points were the 3 pieces of evidence. Okay, so let's talk about Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift. Now remember, it was 1910. This was a long time ago. And the only person that was around was, like your great-grandma or Patterson. So Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift simply states that at one point all continents were together into one supercontinent called Pangea. Pangea. So that's what Alfred Wegener, that's all he had to say. So that's his theory. What are the 3 pieces of evidence? Remember, there's more than 3 pieces. There's up to 6. But we're just going to deal with the 3 easiest to remember ones, and probably the most important. The first one is they all fit together like pieces of the puzzle. Okay? Here's what we mean by that. Okay, pieces of the puzzle. You can see all the different continents merged together into a supercontinent. I know you're saying to yourself, well, but Mr. Farrow, what about those places that aren't labeled? Well, those are areas that are either smashed up into mountains or into islands or back into the ocean floor. Remember, plate tectonics shift, lift, and pull over vast periods of time. This, Alfred Wegener said, was a long, long time ago. He had no idea how long ago. So the first pieces of evidence is they fit together like pieces of the evidence, pieces of the puzzle. They're all pieces of the puzzle. Fossil evidence. Okay, so what Alfred Wegener said is he had this idea and he said, okay, this is a good one, but now I need to provide evidence because he's a scientist. Evidence, evidence, evidence. So what he started to do was look at fossil records. And these are not exact. These are just things Mr. Farrow was kind of winging, for lack of a better word. So what Alfred Wegener said is if this was true, there has to be evidence that fossils were of the same type of animal and the same basic type of time frame were on these different continents. Because remember, land animals and plants can't get across wide oceans without the help of human beings. So what Alfred Wegener did is he started looking at the fossil record, and sure enough, he found that in South America and Africa there were similar land animals, that 4-legged land animals that can't swim in the water on the same continents. He also found fossilized plants in Antarctica, Africa, and South America. Trilobites in North America and Eurasia. So Alfred Wegener said to himself and to the rest of the people, there are similar fossil evidence spread throughout the globe. And his third one was similar rock structure of strata, layers of the rock, here along the coastline. So what he did is he went to South America and he went to Africa and he looked at the rock strata or layers. And he said, wow, we have similar layers. So that means at one point in time there was similar geological patterns that took place. Superposition, we learned about that, with the layering and stacking of the rocks. So to answer this question properly, you would simply restate Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift, which says that at one point in time all the continents were together in one supercontinent called Pangea. And then, as well, you would need to provide these 3 pieces of evidence. Are there more pieces of evidence? Absolutely. But you can Google those, research them on your computer. Doesn't matter to me. That's the answer to question number 3.